We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Erica, what day it is?
It's Friday.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, that was nice. All right, welcome to DBL. I don't know if you guys, there's not a lot of news out there. Just kidding. I'm sure everyone has heard. Former President Donald Trump.
The Bears are going to be on HBO's Hard Knocks.
Hey!
Let's start with some good news.
Jeff, that's not the news. The news is that today's my mom's birthday.
Hey!
Oh, there we go.
Hey! My dog just ate the pill that we couldn't get her to eat.
Are we done with the show? Is it over?
We're done. Everyone's
All right.
gone. All right. No, just to be real, Donald Trump, former president, was convicted yesterday. If you didn't know, he was found guilty in all 34 accounts against him in his New York hush money trial. Reactions were definitely polarized. So the New York Times went with this simple guilty headline. The New Yorker had a drawing of Trump being handcuffed, while Time magazine had a graphic showing of a gavel coming down on Trump. But over on the other side, the New York Post front page went with the headline "Injustice," calling it a political hit job. Outside the courthouse yesterday, anti-Trump protesters celebrated the verdict, but some Trump protesters looked visibly upset. Some were even crying. This poor, poor man. It was a similar story on cable news. Here's some reaction from MSNBC. Take a look.
It's a majestic day, and we are rightly saying the system worked like clockwork, and the jury was diligent and attentive, and the judge was firm and gentle. Donald Trump is a different person now. He's a convict. He's not innocent until presumed guilty. He is guilty, but he's in a whole different status in society, in the legal system, in the rule of law. That's not only fitting, but a kind of miracle is too strong a word, but really a day for celebration.
A miracle, a day for celebration. Okay, well, let's look at Fox. Let's travel over there. This is what Republicans were calling foul. Let's take a look at this.
Yesterday was a sad day for America. You had a partisan witch hunt in New York.
The Democrat Party has completely destroyed our electoral system.
This is a disgrace to the New York justice system, a disgrace as a New York lawyer to watch this complete attempt to find a verdict, not to find justice under our laws.
Well, this morning, Trump himself held a press conference outside of Trump Tower. Let's take a look at what Trump himself had to say.
A case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
What do we all think of this historic verdict? I'll just go first and say I was shocked that he was guilty on all 34 counts. Al, did you see that coming? I thought he'd be guilty, but on some counts.
Not at all. I was at home painting shoes, as I usually am, and I got a text from on a group text saying he's guilty on all 34 counts. And I don't know about you, Kabi. We've been following this for so long that I never look at it like, well, that's it. That's the end. It's almost like a daytime soap. We're on every day. He's on every day. So this is a point. This would be like when a main character we find out has a twin brother or something. But really, this Trump trial and this Trump saga is really a battle between two different factions of this country. And this was a significant blow to one faction. This was considered a win to another. But it's never a knockout. Although I will say this, Erica, and I'm going to get your thoughts. That was the first time Trump, I felt, looked weary when he was speaking right there. I think this has got to be, he's human, weighing on him at some point. All these trials, I thought he loved it, but he looks a little like worn out. The only other time he looked like that is when that rally where the K-pop fans in Vegas bought all the tickets. Remember, he got off the plane, he looked like he got cleaned out at a poker game. Like, that was the only other time.
Was off?
Yes, the only time I've ever
Yeah.
seen Trump look a little bit weary.
Erica, what do you think? That's a jury of his peers took him down. What do you think?
I don't know if they took him down. I guess we'll see. We will see. I do find it ironic for Trump to talk about if they can do that to him, they can do that to anyone. Someone who spearheaded having the exonerated 5 not only wrongfully dragged into court or wrongfully convicted. People who didn't do it, and then it turns out the person who did it turned out to murder the next victim. So that's one more life and some more bloodshed, I believe, on his hands as well. So the irony of that statement alone, I'll just leave it there.
I appreciate that. Jeff, I want to get your take on this. A lot of people feel like it was just impossible for Trump to get a fair trial in New York City. In fact, Trump's defense lawyer himself was asked about it on Fox News. Take a look at this, Jeff, and then respond.
Did your client get a fair trial?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, we've been saying for over a year that we couldn't get a fair trial in Manhattan. We couldn't get a fair trial with the judge, and it played out in lots of ways exactly as we expected.
So do you think he got a fair trial, Jeff?
You know, I'm not even going to pretend I know the court system at all, because experts are weighing in on this and they don't know. I will push back on the other side just to pose a conversation.
Yeah.
How do I look? A little dark over here?
Yeah, but you look good.
I'm kind of like Two-Face from Seinfeld. You know, when she comes in the dark.
There was a debate here last night, and so the lighting, I think, is
just be perfectly honest. So getting back to it, I don't know. This judge kind of ran his campaign on putting Trump in prison, right? So right off the bat, you think this isn't a fair trial. Again, some other points that just stuck out to me. Stormy Daniels' testimony in itself. If I were the judge, I don't know if I necessarily would went into those details. I might have been like, "Did you sleep with Trump? Yes. All right, we got it. You're excused." The details that went into length to defame him, it worked, but I don't think it was necessary. So those two things, and then New York, I think they said it's like 6%. Republican in Manhattan or something. So I don't know those things.
Jeff, let me ask you a question before we run.
I'm not really.
I know that you're
in a position
to imaginary lawyer. If they came to you and said, would you have decided to say that yes, we slept with Stormy Daniels, but that has nothing to do with this case? Because I feel like that might have been the best route for his defense.
Yeah, I think so. I think
just cede the point.
Right, but he doesn't want to concede anything.
Right, just concede it.
That's the problem.
Right,
that's the problem with Trump. He doesn't even want to admit that. So I think if he would have admitted that, give a little and be like, but it was mutual and we did not pay her hush money out of our campaign funds. Then that's what the whole thing was about.
Correct.
Not whether he was sleeping with her.
Not at all.
Right.
Not
and then
at
she
all.
might have not even taken the stand.
Correct.
So I don't know. I really don't.
I mean, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, there's grounds for appeal here. Only I think a lot of it is because of what Stormy said, and I agree with you on that one. So let us know what you guys think. It's a historic day coming up on DBL. We're going to continue this conversation about Trump's guilty verdict. How will this impact the election? We want to hear from you. And our interview with Huey Lewis, how he didn't let hearing loss stop him from making a musical. Welcome back to DBL. Former President Donald Trump may be a convicted felon, but he's still the presumptive Republican nominee for president. It's now essentially up to voters to decide his fate on November 5th. But what will this conviction mean? Okay, so according to an ABC News poll of Trump supporters, 80% will continue their support. 16% will reconsider their support. That's a big number right there. And 4% said they would withdraw their support. As you can see in this poll of registered voters, the conviction could flip who will win. Trump went from 44% down to 39%, while support for President Biden went from 40% up to 43%. So, DBL Nation, we want to hear from you. Will this conviction help or hurt Trump in the election? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Jeffrey, would this make you more likely, less likely? You don't care? You want to get rid? What do you think?
Yeah, I can speak a little more openly on this one.
Please.
I think that number kind of shocked me, 80%. I thought it'd be higher because Trumpers are Trumpers till the end.
Loyal.
Right? They're loyal, but it all comes down to the numbers. I think there's the far left and there's the far right, but what you need is the numbers in the middle here. I think this is really going to hurt Trump.
I think
being a convicted felon, if you're just middle America and you're not really into politics, I don't know what a great influence is. Hey, mommy and daddy are voting for this felon. It's not a great look for, just as a parent. Vote for whoever you want, I'm not saying. My thing now with Biden is he should back out of that debate. He should not talk. He should not do anything. He's got the leg up right now because Trump dug his own hole. Biden could only lose the election himself at this point, and I think the more he goes on air, the more he's going to dig his own hole, in my opinion. He might be great, but if he fails miserably and he shows that he's not up for the task, then I think Trump might have a leg.
I want to hug you, although I know you won't let me touch you. I think that's a really good point. I really do.
What are you talking about? Took it to a weird place.
No, I just think that's a brilliant idea. I don't understand the publicist who said Biden should do the debate. Now that he's down, do you think he should?
I don't see there being much of a point. I don't see there's being much of a point for either one of them to do anything because I think people already have their minds made up.
You don't think there's that 16%?
I really don't.
You really don't see that?
I mean, we'll see.
Right.
Which is, I mean, my campaign slogan at this point. I think it is interesting,
I would vote for you with that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Erica Cobb, we'll see.
I'd be like, she's right.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
I think that is the slogan for our country.
Yeah.
But it's more like this.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
no thumbs up.
So I'm just curious for anyone who would continue to vote for Trump regardless of his felony conviction. Are they also in favor of making it legal for felons to vote in every state? If you can have a convicted felon on the ballot, can people who have been convicted of felonies vote
for the ballot?
Also, there's so much scrutiny on people who are convicted of felonies, especially when they get out of prison, in order to be able to get jobs. Should we be scrutinizing people who have felony convictions if our president is able to, or a future potential president would be able to do so with the felony?
Right.
I mean, it opens up a lot of questions that I'm just curious what the answers.
The word felony changes when Trump has become one.
Erica, I'll say this, it opens up a lot of questions and it also closes the door on something that, as somebody that's kind of like a political historical nerd like myself, who goes back and listens to campaigns from the 50s and 60s, a lot of Republican campaigns run on law and order. That is the hook. Law and order. Law and order. Law and order means a lot of things. There's subterfuge underneath that. But law and order, can you run on that as a convicted felon? Can you back the blue as a convicted felon? Maybe you can. But it's going to ring differently in your voters' ears. And I think for as much as it was slightly funny to see that man kind of agonizing and stomping the hat, that guy that was crying, this was a blow. This was a bigger blow than I thought it would be. I thought he would be convicted, and I thought it would be almost a page 2 headline. But seeing that the attention that this took towards the last couple of days and leading to the verdict, it's a bigger blow than I thought it would be. That F means something.
Well, Trump doesn't agree. Just so you guys know, Trump himself claims that he's raised $34.8 million after the felony conviction, which was yesterday. We have not verified that amount of money. Let's see the poll results here. 22% of you say it will help him, this conviction, and 78% of you agree with Jeff that it will hurt him. Interesting.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll be right back. Huh? Tip to be square. Welcome back to Tip to be Square from Huey Lewis in the News. And earlier we got a chance to chat with Huey himself all about how his music is hitting Broadway and how it helped him work with his hearing loss. Fascinating interview. Take a look.
Ooh, I've been a fan of his since I was a kid. Please welcome to DBL, the heart of rock and roll, Huey Lewis.
Yes. Hi, everybody.
Yes.
So cool. It is an honor to speak with you, my friend. Now, your voice is the soundtrack of the 80s, no doubt. And you've toured all over the world. What is a fan experience that you'll never forget from back then?
Well, what's a fan experience? I'll never forget Europe, actually. I remember we played, a lot of memorable gigs, but we played the stadium in Paris, and Bob Geldof and Bruce Springsteen came to the show, and we all played barefoot as an encore.
Dang.
That's one of them.
Dang.
That's a good memory. That's amazing.
All right, let's talk about this. The world was heartbroken, Mr. Lewis, when you announced you lost a lot of your hearing a few years ago and you wouldn't be able to perform because of it. And I wanted to know, how did working on this Broadway show help you navigate through that?
Well, it was a salvation, really. It keeps my mind off my crappy hearing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have to be more careful because it takes more time, but it's really helped me be creative and stay. The Zen Buddhists say you need three things in life: something to love, something to hope for, and something to do. I got plenty to love, and now I got the show to hope for, and of course, the show to do.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful statement. Now, your music is a staple in the Back to the Future trilogy, and I hear Michael J. Fox has been actually helping you through your hearing loss. How has he helped, and have you both been friends since the movie?
That's the power of love. Oh, he's just been supportive. I don't see him all that much, but we did a very nice interview for the show here, 2 weeks ago or so, and he was very complimentary, and he's a great guy. People don't realize how funny Michael J. Fox is. He is very funny.
He is. He's so talented. Speaking of a lot of talent, we recently saw you in The Greatest Night in Pop. Such a good documentary. And you've said that We Are the World was the career event of your life because you got to hang out with some of the best artists of all time during the breaks. Who did you get along with the best, and who made you the most nervous?
But if you just believe, there's nowhere we can fall. Well, everyone really. Everybody was wonderful. But I found out that Bruce Springsteen is very funny. He's a really good joke teller. And Willie Nelson was playing golf. Willie and I were talking about golf, and Bob Dylan came over and said, "Wow, you guys talking about golf? That's outrageous."
Unbelievable.
So I watched the documentary too, and I have to ask why Dan Aykroyd was there. I know he's in the Blues Brothers. I'm a Chicago guy, but he felt a little out of place.
He felt it.
Actually, that was what Dan Aykroyd's line. He told everybody, "What am I doing here?"
All right, we're going back a little bit for this one, but your music was used in American Psycho during that murder scene. Mm-hmm. What was it like seeing your music used in that horror film, and how did that come about?
I read the book, and clearly Mr. Ellis was a fan and understood not only me, but he was an 80s fan, Tina Turner and Phil Collins, and he was, he clearly knew what he was talking about. So when the film happened, they came to us and said, could they use Hip to Be Square? And it was a gruesome scene, but it's an art piece. Of course you can. William Dafoe was in it, and so on. So they used it, and then 2 weeks before the film was going to come out, they came to us and said, could they do a soundtrack? And so I said, do we have to do it? My manager said, no, it's not part of the deal. I said, fine, politely decline, which we did. Well, then on the eve of the release of the film, they issued a press release that went everywhere that said that Huey Lewis had seen the film. And it was so good that he pulled his tune from the sound.
No.
Which was, just Hollywood pizzazz.
Wow.
And so I boycotted the film. So I've never actually seen American Psycho, although I saw the musical on Broadway and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
There you go.
That's
and we also lampooned the scene on Funny or Die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you have a sense of humor about it.
So good. Gosh, we could talk to you forever. Thank you so much, Huey. What an inspiration you are. DBL Nation.
Well, let's do it then. Let's talk for another hour.
Yeah.
Why not?
Come on our show. We love you. DBL Nation, the heart of rock and roll, is playing on Broadway now. Thank you again. We'll be right back. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Welcome back to DBL. Who's ready for his fun summer vacation?
Yay.
Some people. If you're searching for the perfect place to stay, I don't want you to look any further because Hotels.com released the perfect somewheres list. So it's a different kind of hotel award based on how well they treat their guests. This is all me. A new survey found some people spend more than 10 hours researching which hotel to book. So Hotels.com is making it way easier by listing the best of the best for you. The complete list is available on Hotels.com. If you follow them on Instagram, you'll get a peek inside the perfect somewhere.
Can I say something that's going to upset you?
Don't say.
I like the hotel usually more than the city. I'm more into, I think the hotels are cooler. I think cities, there's a lot of chains everywhere. Cities aren't as unique as they used to be. I think the hotels can really be kind of cool, have a theme.
Cities are no longer cool. I appreciate you, Al. We'll see you same
Too many
time,
chains.
same place Monday. Be good to yourselves.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.